definitely used my friends and trainees to sort of ask for advice and use the resources that I had available. I was so enthusiastic about the firm that that sort of came across in the interview. If you do get sort of the chance to pick between several, obviously that's great. But if not, like whichever you end up with,
Yeah,
it's
this
great.
matter. That's right. All right. So I think now is the most like the weighted question I wanted to ask you. So how did Freshfield happen? So
How did Freshfields happen?
yeah.
um, I mean, I think at first it was just like virtual interactions. I was attending virtual presentations on Legal Cheek and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew of them. I knew how great they were. I knew I would like to be able to get some work experience there. I thought that would be amazing. My first interaction with them was the School of Law has a scheme. It's like a winter 1 week work experience with Freshfields.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to apply with like a CV and cover letter. I think in second year, and if you're selected, then you're able to sort of do this 1 week work experience. And that was sort of my first interaction with the firm, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. They were extremely supportive, extremely friendly, and just we had presentations from all departments. We had sort of social events. Neil Golding, who is the partner who runs the scheme, is a Leeds Uni alumni. So he's sort of the one behind supporting the scheme. That was my first interaction with the firm, and I thought, well, I'm going to apply for a vacation scheme and see what happens, but I'd like to get one. Applied then for a vacation scheme the following year. Definitely used my friends and trainees to sort of ask for advice and reach out and try and get as much advice, have like people review my application. It was definitely like I definitely received advice and used the resources that I had available. I don't think I would have done it on my own, and I think it's very important to sort of make the most of the resources that there are out there. And I think that truly it was very helpful to have that available. I did the application and then was invited to do the Watson Glaser test. Did the Watson Glaser test with a lot of practice beforehand, because my experience with the test is that you can only do well if you practice on it as much as possible. There's no sort of way of cheating the system. Unfortunately, it's literally just practicing it as much as possible and trying to get used to that type of test. Then was invited to do the assessment center. It was virtual at the time. I think they might be going back to in-person assessment centers now. But it was virtual when I did it, and it was 2 interviews. One interview was competency-based interview, so it was one, I believe, 2 associates, or one partner, 1 associate. But they asked me questions like why law, why commercial law, why Freshfields. Tell me about the time when you did this. Tell me about the time when you did that. So that was sort of the structure of the interview. And then the second interview was based on a news article that I had to read in advance, and we discussed sort of different aspects of the article. So I think, what helped me was practicing and sort of preparing what I would answer if I was to be asked a specific question. Having somewhat of a commercial awareness. It's such a vague term, but basically just knowing some business terms and knowing how businesses work, and knowing sort of what, different type of costs involved, or profits. I remember I had some questions about supply chains. They asked me at one point, what is a brand? And I remember freezing, because I thought, well, a brand is a brand. Like, what do you want me to say? But I think it's basically just they want to pick your brains to see how you think and to see sort of the steps that you take to reach a conclusion. And it's very important to sort of explain to them what your thinking process is behind your answer. So I definitely remember that what is a brand question threw me off, but we got there in the end, so it was okay. And then so that was the assessment center, and then got the vacation scheme on the back of that. Did the vacation scheme. It was 3 weeks. It was at the office. It was this summer, so 2022. And just had a very, very lovely time. I was in the competition department, so it's called ACP, and was able to meet many, many interesting people. I had an associate supervisor. I had a partner who was like a mentor. Obviously, didn't probably see the partner as much as I did the associate, based on their time availability. But we still went to lunch together. We had a couple of feedback calls together. We grabbed a drink together at one of the social events. So it was they definitely showed interest in the sense that they were there because they were interested in getting to know you. They were interested in getting to see if you were a fit for the firm. So it was definitely nothing was sort of impersonal or fast in any way. It was I definitely got to talk to a lot of people, and I think it was good in both ways, because it was them seeing if I could be a good person to work with, and it was me seeing if I would enjoy my time there. There was a lot of sorry.
You go on. It's fine.
I was just going to talk about the structure of the vacation scheme. There were some exercises to do, sort of legal research, that I was given by the associate and the partner. There was some pro bono. There was a lot of social events. So we went bowling at some point, had pizza together. We built a terrarium that I have in my room, so I can show you if you want it. This was I'm gonna have to not blur my screen. How do I do this? There we go. This is a plant I built in the Freshfields office.
Wow.
It's called the terrarium, and we all did one, and it's supposed to be like a plant that has its own ecosystem, so you never have to water it. And this is my memory from the vacation scheme.
Wow, that's really lovely.
So there's a lot of social activities, and I think I really enjoyed my time there. And by the time the final interview came, which is like a final interview at the end of the vacation scheme, where they tell you, we're considering you for a training contract. I think by that point, I was so enthusiastic about the firm that sort of came across in the interview. So that's my Freshfield story, I guess.
That's really nice. So, like Freshfield, is there any other firm that you have considered like this, like so much emotions like attached to a firm? Is there any other firm that you would have gotten a training contract?
Yeah, definitely. So I did a couple of the vacation schemes. I did one at Herbert Smith Freehills, and another one at Hogan Lovells. And it was a difficult decision because I enjoyed all three firms, and there's nothing to fault them, and there's nothing that they did wrong or anything. I think what made me choose Freshfields in the end was sort of connections I made with the people there, as well as just sort of I suppose the AC training contract. That was something that really drew me to Freshfields, because you'd get to sort of see more seats in the training contract. But that does not mean that I didn't meet amazing people at the other firms and just got to see amazing work. So I think it's really like whichever firm you end up with, they're great, and they have sort of many resources for training trainees and making sure that they are the best trainees that they can be. If you do get sort of the chance to pick between several, obviously that's great. But if not, like whichever you end up with, it's great.
So I think it's like the last part, I guess. So it's like the near end, and so as a person, like you have done like a lot of mini pupillage, not pupillages, mini pupillages, and work experience in like with barristers, and as well as like a lot of vacation schemes. So how did you end up being a getting a training contract and working in the path of being a solicitor? So how's that happened? I'm sure
Um,
that it might be a difficult decision for you as well.
yeah, I think for a time I was balancing and I was trying to decide which one I want to go for, and I think my thinking was I'm going to try and get some work experience in both and see which one I enjoy the most. I think I really enjoyed the bar and I enjoyed the idea of speaking in front of a judge and speaking in a trial and speaking in the court. Um, I think that's amazing and it's something that I would enjoy. Um, the disadvantages of the bar that I noticed that sort of made me more inclined to the solicitor route is the sort of um, so you have autonomy, right, and you have independence, and you sort of you are able to keep on top of your work and manage your clients how you want and whatever, which is great. But you don't really get to work in a team. You sort of only work on your own, and some people prefer that, and that's great. But as a solicitor, a lot of the work that you do is within a smaller or a wider team, and at all the vacation schemes that I did, I would notice a lot of like conversation between two lawyers that would just sort of spark an idea about the strategy that they're going to take or about things that they need to consider or the plan they're going to take. And that's something that I really enjoyed because it's like you're able to sort of, the more people you combine, and it's always going to be different people who have different experiences who are going to bring something different to the table. That sort of makes the output, the final output, the best it can be. And I think that's something that attracted me more to the idea of teamwork and something that would happen more as a solicitor rather than as a barrister. The barrister has a team of, they work with the solicitor who then works with the client. So in that sense, there is a team there as well. But I just thought it wasn't the same. And then I suppose the safety that you get from having a salary as opposed to being self-employed. When you're self-employed, you have to sort of pay for your own taxes as well as you don't really know when the client is going to pay you. So I remember one of the barristers telling me that they get paid sort of 6 months after they did the work, and they have to wait for the client to pay them, even though they did the work a very long time ago. And comparing that with sort of having a constant salary that comes in every month, rightfully so for work that you're doing, it's like it's still long hours regardless of which one you go for. The hours are still going to be long, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the idea of having many resources available in a firm, having the ability to sort of travel internationally and work at other offices and sort of work with international clients, whereas that's probably not the case as much. If you're an arbitrator, as a barrister, if you're an arbitrator, you can arbitrate at different arbitration centers around the world. And in that sense, you can arbitrate different jurisdictions and laws of different jurisdictions. And it's often different contracts. If you have like a construction contract or whatnot, or a shipping contract, it may be that a different law is used. So in that sense, you get to work with other jurisdictions as well if you're looking to go at the commercial bar. But I can't say the same about different areas of law as a barrister. But I think what made me go for the solicitor route was I just thought there would be more benefits for my development and my training. And if I want to change paths in the future, then so be it, let's say. But for now, I thought for my development, it'd be best to go for the place that has the most resources and most opportunities I can make the most of. There's loads of networks I can get involved with. There's sort of social activities I can get involved with. There's loads of opportunities in terms of just literally going to someone's office and asking a question about the most random topic, and they'll have their door open ready to talk to you. And who knows that might spark like this great idea that you can use in in your strategy for your client. I just thought in that sense, the work may be less legal than less sort of black and white law, like black letter law that you do as a barrister. So yes, that's different. But I just thought for now it'd be more beneficial for me. That's a really long answer, but I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, it really does. Well, and my follow-up question was that, like as you said, like for your development right now, it's better to like go to the solicitor route. And I'm sure, like when I was applying for Freshfield, I knew like they have a like specific development program with them, so they like they spend a lot of time and efforts to like make a better like uh, better trainee in their firm. They want leaders, right? So that was one thing that I was looking into. So yeah, that's good. And is there any chance of you of like changing a career path like a while later as a barrister?
I don't think I can answer that question. I think that there's so much I need to go through, and I think my priority at the moment is finishing university and doing the SQE and passing, and then doing the training contract qualifying as a solicitor. So that in itself is going to be such a huge experience that it might be that after I do all of that, I've completely changed my mind in my position and in my opinion. So I can't answer that question, but I will say that the experience that I've just explained of how I chose the solicitor route might not be applicable to everyone. It might not be the same to everyone. And it might be that actually you enjoy autonomy and you enjoy working on your own and you enjoy making decisions and not sort of having to report to anyone and looking more at legal points rather than commercial points in a way. So if that's what you enjoy, then obviously that's a pretty clear decision. So I think it's definitely subjective. So that was sort of my decision making process, but it was definitely subjective. But I can't answer the question. I don't know.
No, anyways, it's like a long way to go, and it's very hard right now to say it anyway. So like it's end of my part, like questioning. I have just made a like short rapid fire questioning, if that's fine, if you wanna answer.
Say that again, sorry.
Sorry. So like I've prepared a rapid fire question for you. Like
okay,
yeah. I'll just do it. It's a like it's based around Leeds and your experience. So nothing
okay, yeah.
hard.
Sounds good.
So yeah. So let's start. Which is your favorite like go-to library in Leeds?
I like the business school library. So business school has like this old church, and if you go to the top floor, there's like a study center. It's basically under the roof of the church. And it's really quiet and it's really beautiful, and there's loads of like nice architecture, and it's pretty warm. They have the heaters on there, so that was probably my go-to study spot.
That's nice.
Very niche.
Have you seen the Bacon statue in Leeds? Like the Union inside the like outside the Union, near the Union.
Have I seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know what it is mean? What does it mean, or what does it represent?
Is it something about lightning?
Not lightning. I'm not sure, but like I think it's basically an art, and it's a peace sign. So basically that around that. So
no, I'm ashamed to say I don't know what it means. I just thought it was like a frying bacon or like a lightning.
No, it's fine anyway. So as you have said, like you have tried many cuisines. So out of like the Indian, Chinese, Italian, Japanese, like rate them from top to bottom.
The students?
No, not the students. The food. Indian, Chinese, food. Japanese, and Italian. So top to bottom, yeah.
Okay. Oh, Japanese number 1. Italian number 2. Indian number 3 and Chinese number 4. I'm sorry.
All right. No, it's fine.
I'm just not a big fan of Chinese food.
Yeah. So last question. If not Freshfield, which firm?
Which firm, if not Freshfields? Yeah. Oh, Probably Herbert Smith Freehills or Hogan Lovells, one of these two.
Thank you very much for coming in today and give your experience to other students and myself, and I really appreciate that. So hopefully you have enjoyed your time here.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed talking about my experience, and I think this is a great initiative, and I look forward to sort of listening to the other episodes as well.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one.